Teenagers that engage in bad habits have a chance of experiencing major and long-lasting effects. Bad habits, including a poor diet, exercise, and smoking, can lead to physical health issues like obesity, heart disease, and lung problems. Bad habits can also affect academic performance, social relationships, and future chances. There are two types of bad habit, which is self-bad habit are negative behavior directed toward oneself, such as poor diet and lack of exercise and procrastination, while external bad habits are negative behavior directed towards others, such as smoking, drug and alcohol. This habit can overlap and impact both the individual and their relationship with others.
We have two types of self-bad habits, which is procrastinations and poor diet and lack of exercise. Procrastinations, known as the behavior of delaying or postponing things until the very last minute or after their due date. Many teenagers have not yet developed effective time management skill, which can make it difficult for them to prioritize tasks and complete them in a timely manner. So this is one of the factors of procrastinations. The second is poor diet and lack of exercise. So many teenagers consume unhealthy foods such as fast food and sugary drinks and may not get enough physically activities. This can lead to obesity, diabetes, and other health problems. They have two types of external habits, which is smoking and drug use. Smoking, many teenagers start smoking because they believe it makes them look cool or to fit in with their peers. However, smoking is extremely harmful to their health and can lead to a range of health problems, including lung cancer, heart disease, and stroke. Drug use. Some teenagers may experiment with drugs such as marijuana, cocaine, or prescription drugs. These substances can have serious negative effects on their physical and mental health, as well as their future opportunities.
Lack of time with family has a cause of bad habits around the teenagers. It a very common problem was being every day. Almost the parents have not enough time at home until they back to home and getting together for cooking and eating with their children. So they just order and buy the junk food, either online or physically. Teenagers are influenced by the physically surrounding of a social environment, which includes housing and open space for recreation, as they spend the majority of their time and start to interact. Teenagers learn from their environment by imitating the social behavior of the people around, and what they see in their day-to-day environment influence their social behavior. Sometimes, through the stress in your life can actually come from your peers. Teenagers may turn to bad habits such as overeating, smoking, or drinking alcohol as a way to cope with their stress and anxiety. They may pressure you into doing something you are uncomfortable.
There are many effects of teenagers with bad habits. Bad habits such as lack of guidance, lack of education, and peer pressure are the effects of the teenagers with bad habits. Let's get started with the first one, which is the family problems. This is an internal problem for the teenagers that many are facing daily. It all started with their home. If their habits are problematic, they can cause more harm to their troublesome family. Families can fall apart, parents can be separated if their children's habits keep getting worse, and if one of their parents are abusive, the parents can get more violent with each every day. All of this can worsen teenagers' habits because they do not have a parental figure to talk about their problems or anyone to vent their problems to. Teenagers are sensitive human beings, and they can be easily influenced by outside forces or inside forces. The family problem that they keep having can lead up to many problems that can affect them growing up. Teenagers with bad habits can be a financial burden to a family. Teenagers can do such thing as gambling using their family's money and put a lot of stress on their parents because they are stretched thin with money problems. Next is health problems. Next is health problem among themselves. This is because the teenagers with bad habits are using drugs or smoking cigarettes, which can cause more problems within their families. With this, teenagers are causing more financial problems for their family because of the fee that they need to pay for their children's treatment. Next is lack of guidance. Lack of guidance is an external problem for teenagers with bad habits. This can lead to all of sorts of problems for them. Problems such as difficulty building healthy relationship with anyone can be a huge problem for them. This is because they do not have proper guidance from their parents or anyone that have the authority over them to guide them towards good. Emotional difficulties are also a problem for teenagers. The lack of guidance. Bad habits of teenagers can lead to emotional difficulties and social problems if a teenager only sit in his room and does not spend time with their family or friends. It can lead up to pent-up feelings because he does not spend his feeling with his family or friends. If this problem keeps showing up, it can lead to aggressive behavior that can harm other people. Without proper guidance on conflict, they can be a murderer or criminals if they do not see it for themselves. Lastly is peer pressure. This is an internal problem for a lot of people, for a lot of teenagers that are going through right now. Peer pressure from their friends that have bad habits can influence how teenagers see things differently. This is also a cause of bullying because friends with bad habits will pressure teenagers that do not have bad habits to become like them. For example, teenagers that have bad habits say that teenagers that do not have bad habits are cowards or weak because they are different from them. These teenagers that do not have bad habits will feel pressure from them to become like them, and if they did not become like them, they will be bullied or harassed from them. Teenagers facing this problem often feel trapped because they do not want to be like them, but forced to be like them and do bad things because some teenagers dislike being violent. Mental health issues also comes to play when talking about peer pressure. Teenagers who feel like they are pressured to do something that they do not want to do will feel depressed or upset. This is also the cause of suicide in teenagers.
One of the solutions for bad habits among teenagers are role model. A positive role model comes from parents, guardians, is by showing good example from the start, which means good example from the house. Growing up with a positive ways and guardian is a good start into shaping the teenagers into a better youth. Not only parents or guardian can be a role model, even teachers can show a positive role model to the teenagers. For example, the teachers can teach them on time management and even discipline them and on how to complete their homework. What parents can do is they can set some boundaries between them and screen time. For example, they can limit their screen time for a day, maybe an hour or 2 hours a day for them to use any social media, any internet, YouTube and such. As we know, internet is broad and something that we cannot control of, and that is why parents need to step in and play an important role by limiting their screen time. By this, it can avoid any negative side effects into the teenagers. Next, parents can give or provide eating healthy habits from the house. Sure, we can eat fast food, but not as much as home cooked meals. As we know, home cooked meals is give much more nutrients to the teenagers, as the teenagers needed nutrients to grow up. Fast food is the last option parents can give to their teenage, basically into their teenager phase. They are most likely to avoid sharing their feelings, sharing their problems, or even showing their emotions, whether they are happy, sad, or even angry. They are most likely to hide them from their parents, teachers, and even their guardians. By communicating and safe space will allow them to talk freely about anything, about school, or about relationships between friends or teachers, I don't know, and even they have been bullied in school. When a person who has been bullied in school, they will most likely to scared to open up to people, and by that they will bottle up, and somehow when they burst, it is not something that is so great to be seen. Their safe space can be anyone, their parents, their friends, siblings, and even teachers. They can find someone who can be trusted, someone who's not judgy with their feelings, with their emotions. And by showing that, by listening and by responding to their feelings, their problems, or anything, this will show them that they are not alone, and their feelings is matter, and their feelings is valid, and their emotions is valid. And by that, it will show that they are not alone to go through the teenager phase into adult phase. And as we know, from teenagers to adult phase is a bumpy road. And by communicating and a safe space, this will prevent them from showing their dissatisfaction in wrong way. For example, like smoking, drinking, doing drugs. By expressing that negatively is not something that is healthy for teenagers to grow up.
In conclusion, bad habits among teenagers can affect their physical and mental health, as well as their future possibility. Teenagers are in a vital developmental stage, and the habit they adopt during this time can have a long-term impact of their life. It is critical for parents, educators, and communities to collaborate in order to prevent negative habits and encourage healthy habits and lifestyle among teenagers. Education significant role modeling, encouraging healthy behavior, setting limits, providing support, and creating a friendly environment. We can help kids make positive choice and live healthy and satisfied with life if we employ an integrated approach to avoiding bad habits.